Hey everyone, it's Panta here. Let's analyze the new chapter of Plaything, which was released yesterday. Plaything Chapter 76, but first and foremost, a huge thank you to Stonescape for the translation work. To see the full chapter, visit the website Stonescape. Story begins with an interesting fan service scene featuring Ayun's mother, who will later be named Erica, but we'll call her the cheating MILF. The cheating MILF, fresh out of the shower and covered only by a towel, offers a delightful acupuncture session to her husband Kong Muhan, the gang leader, but whom we'll remember as the cuckolded husband. Would you accept this needle prick in your eyes? The cuckolded husband saw no problem and accepted it calmly. In the middle of the session, a somewhat uncomfortable conversation began. The husband suspects his wife is hiding something. The cheating MILF, however, still plays coy. The conversation shifts to the topic of Ayun, or more specifically, Ayun's bullying. This is an interesting point that is the biggest confusion occurring on the villain's side. And subtly, some clues are dropped that there is something bigger behind a simple revenge. Karma and Chief Back are acting in the service of Lee Myung-jun, henceforth known as the adoptive father. However, this involvement cannot be discovered. Thus, they tried to deceive the villains by trying to forge who their real mastermind would be. Kang Taein, aka the married woman-eater, is still in doubt about who the mastermind actually is, although he suspected the ruling party or even Cha Kang-yoon, whom we will call the superboss father. At this moment, he really thinks that the mastermind behind Karma and Chief Back is the adoptive father as well as the cheating MILF. However, the cuckolded husband seems truly convinced that the person behind it all is indeed the superboss father. His argument is based on the timing of the deaths of 4 people whose identities are irrelevant. It's enough to know that they were people connected to the superboss father, and that they died suddenly under questionable circumstances. The cuckolded husband's position is that a cover-up is happening right now, and because of that, Karma and Chief Back are acting on orders from their superboss father to bring punishment to Ayun's family, as they are next on the list. Next, the cuckolded husband continues with more expository talk. He explains a bit about where all the superboss father's power comes from. To make it simpler to understand, the superboss father has an island similar to Epstein's Island in Korea, where he obtained a lot of compromising material from political adversaries, and therefore he has total dominance over the Korean power landscape. The cuckolded husband continues explaining his own plan to save himself from the burning of files. He intends to obtain this compromising material from his superboss father, and perhaps with that, gain an advantage when the conflict develops. The cheating MILF didn't take these plans very well. For her, going against the superboss is a bad idea, but for him, it's the only way to survive. The cheating MILF still tries to dissuade him from the idea, saying that he's biting off more than he can chew, and that he should worry more about his family than his ambition, and, this time, it's he who doesn't take this position well. Next, there are more arguments from a dysfunctional couple. The cuckolded husband says he knows he's being cheated on. The cheating MILF admits she cheated, but tries to throw out some excuses that the cuckolded husband doesn't believe. The argument ends with him going through with his plan, and her angry at having been subjugated by her husband. The story then cuts to a short scene where the womanizer gives Ayun an expensive little gift, which makes the girl very happy. I admit that the relationship between these two, supposed niece and uncle, is a little too affectionate for non-direct relatives. At first, I suspected that perhaps the womanizer was Ayun's real father, but the previous conversation implied that all this affection is so that the womanizer can take possession not only of the woman, but also of his brother's daughter. In short, he is the typical envious brother who wants everything his brother has. In fact, this scene would be irrelevant to the story, but apparently it served to enable a new plan by Chief Back. Let's see what will come of this in the next chapters. As we approach the end of the chapter, the final piece of Chief Back's puzzle is revealed. It seems the bullied young boy will have some involvement in the events of Season 2. And that's it for Chapter 76. In terms of story, almost nothing progressed, but it served to give us a better understanding of the characters and the plot behind the game. We learned a little more about the cheating MILF and the cuckolded husband, as well as getting some teasers of how things will unfold in the climax. This climax was presented with an imposing ending, indicating that a Yoon's trial day was about to begin. We're waiting. See you in the next video.